All right. Okay. Let me do like a quick. There we are. Well, hello and welcome to yet another chapter reading of my lore story, Delphinium Exigence. To explain what Exigence is, I put a poll a while back to basically decide which kind of route I'm going to be going for my lore story. I do have one on my Wix page, which is what I now dub as the guidance route. It looks a little bit more detailed than what I have currently because I kind of want to flesh out as many sides as possible. So, enemy factions, side stories here and there, and so on. However, exigence, as the dictionary definition kind of goes about, is basically a more focused, more abridged approach to my lore story. So that is what I'm designating as the mayhem path. Why the paths? It's basically to lead up to a certain point that's going to happen where something special occurs. So since I'm a bit more focused on the direction of where I want to take my story, I do want to emphasize one particular thing that this is mostly done at my own pace, and it's just also a very, I won't say personal, but it's a very quick and dirty kind of lore writing too. But I have mentioned plenty of times before that I've taken some inspiration of as far as writing dialogue goes, as taking inspiration from Distortion Detective. So it may be difficult to track on what kind of voice is going on, but yeah, it's very easy to. Well, I hope that it's kind of easy for everybody to kind of follow along as far as voices are concerned, because I like writing dialogue. I like writing dialogue, especially in very short bursts too. Also, welcome Denzel. I'll definitely take a look at that pork belly video. Very soft, juicy pork belly, marinated in a special kind of sauce that's let me not get in a little bit. Let me not get into it too much. Now, one thing I also want to emphasize too is that my story does kind of read a bit like a fan fiction too, because right now I'm just kind of starting off with more of the Super Robot Wars Endless Frontier approach. Then it's gonna span out to Super Robot Wars, and after that, you're gonna see something very interesting happening later down the line. Let's go, Seiko. And the reason why I'm also going for a raw read is because, look, I do try to write my scenes as if it was a movie, so to speak. So there would be a lot of sounds, a lot of interactions, and a lot of things that happen probably in the background that would probably take a bit more editing to just make it work and immersive. So it'll take me my sweet old time working the 9 to 5 to just try and get as much possible to just really make it pop. So please do look forward to like a premium version of the lore reading chapters, where I do try to incorporate a lot of the sound effects and stuff that you would expect from maybe like an audio comic or an audio drama of sorts. This is just me reading it out, maybe just finding some stuff that I could probably just edit along the way and just make some corrections so it sounds a little bit better in like the final product. So, without further ado, if you want to skip to this particular portion of the story and just go to the direct read now, which is at, let me see, 10 minutes. 10 minutes sharp. This is where it starts. And let me also make sure that the notifications are not here. So, yay. Delphinium Exigence, Chapter 2, Asset Management. Noah and Otsdarva walked through the halls when they heard loud whirring and stomping the closer they got to the generator room. Both had their backs to the wall to avoid making further noise, unknown to whether or not it would attack them on sight. The two got closer and whispered to each other. "What now, Greaser? What do you see?" "Looks like some heavy arms type of WR android. It's patrolling around the door where the generator room is." "Any weak points you see? Worn armor? Bad walk?" Otsdarva taps his left leg and his face. "Exposed frames. It may be aware of it, but it's still moving around to stay focused to avoid adding too much weight to itself standing still." Noah chuckles before readying her kunai. "How human. Just give me a good amount of time to hit those spots. Any distraction will do." Otsdarva racks his pistol and readies himself on the corner to pop around and take a few shots. Before he can swing around the corner, Noah leads a charge. She bounces from wall to wall and slides between the leg with the exposed frame that Otsdarva pointed out, and stabs it with a kunai. The kunai started to vibrate violently and dig further into its leg as Noah hangs onto the android's neck, bringing its back to a curve to point its missile launcher to the ceiling to dissuade it from using its weapon. However, engaged in combat. Commencing fire. "Shit, don't get out yet!" Noah let go of the android, allowing it to regain its posture before it fired off a rocket pod from its shoulder. The discharged rocket flew to the other end of the hallway, whizzing past Otsdarva before exploding at the wall it hit. Otsdarva sprung into action and took aim at the remaining rocket pods within the launcher. "Noah, get away! Now! Got it!" Noah hopped away quickly as two shots fired from the pistol hit its mark. A large explosion erupted next to the head of the android, blowing off his torso in the process. The android, or what was left of it, was destroyed, and a path to the generator room amid the debris was open for admission. "Nice shooting there, Tex." Noah gave a thumbs up to Otsdarva. Otsdarva brushed off whatever soot and dirt flew his direction after the explosion and moved onward to the generator. "Come on. We have no time to lose. We got a particular schedule to meet." "Schedule? I'll tell you after we fire up the main generator in this area." Otsdarva and Noah walked down the red-tinged vestibule leading into the generator room, the red light signifying that the active auxiliary generator has been running for quite some time with little to no upkeep. This is a surprise, let alone a miracle, that has been running unabated with no outages, at least according to the records Ace sifted from the diagnostic logs on the way. Restoration process will involve heavy-duty battery replacement. Ace, is there any equipment to reduce hazards in the process? There should be some vehicles within the confines that will assist you. If not, then you have to rely on short-range measures to remove and install the batteries. Noah was curious as to who Otsdarva was talking to in the process. What is that thing you're talking to, Ots? ACE, or All-Calculating Eye, is a special-grade AI assistant that utilizes quantum computing and analysis to effectively provide information and assistance in real time. It's the fastest computational assistant that I'm aware of so far. I was created by the good doctor to assist Otsdarva in fulfilling an important mission that runs in tandem with his ambitions, and I will exercise as much availability as possible to ensure that the mission is accomplished by any acceptable means. Define acceptable. Acceptable. Adjective. Merriam-Webster Dictionary definition. Welcome. Pleasing. Fairly satisfactory. And I get it. Really emphasizing the smartass. Prick. Noah's curiosity was sated with a flavor of annoyance with Ace's brand of humor, if it exists to them. In the momentary bickering between Ace and Noah, the two have reached the destination. Locked behind the massive sealed door with an inert keycard pad, all that remained was the giant wheel on the door. Noah, help me with this one. Righto. The two combined their strength to open the door to the generator room. Loud creaking could be heard through the vestibule as it audibly became looser after each turn of the wheel became easier, and the door becoming easier to open. Got it! The door opened, and the two were greeted with a massive collider-type generator. Otsdarva found some heavy equipment to safely remove the batteries that were damaged, and Noah, in her sheer strength, carried the new batteries over her head and inserted them in the places where the old batteries were in. After 30 minutes passed, the generator began spooling up. Lights were slowly flickering on, replacing the red tinge with a more pearlescent white lighting. It was a loud start at first, but then became gradually quiet as time passed. Great. Generator's up and running. Yep, and it took a bit less. Noah paused as she was stretching around and looking around behind her. There were two W-Series androids at the end of the hall. Neither of them stood around long enough before going separate ways. Something wrong, Noah? Nothing. It's nothing. Right. Let's get out of here and start discussing the plans I had in mind. Oh yeah, you mentioned something about a schedule. Think we can find any rations to munch on around here beforehand? Chapter end. All right, so that's all of that. So this was meant to emphasize a bit of teamwork between the two, as well as introducing Ace a bit better. To some degree, there are some loose threads that will probably be wrapped up eventually, but this is a completely different direction I went with compared to how I kind of approached it with my guidance path route. Because what I did before, and it was very early on, was I made it into more of like a choose your own adventure kind of deal, or scenario battles as I like to call them. So it sounded good on paper, because I kind of expected to have like some sort of interaction with others to see if they can make the choice. But after a while, especially on like the third situation with the later chapters in the guidance path, I decided against it and just figured that, hey, it might be better just tell the stories outright. No need to try and play an RPG no need to try and make an RPG out of the situation. Just make it straightforward and just work with what you got. And for that point onward, I just forgone the whole idea of just making the choose your own adventure stuff. I feel as though I do want to do choose your own adventure stuff somewhere down the line, but maybe that might be for like separate situations. Hey, what's good, Sapphire? How you doing? We just completed the chapter read. So if anybody else is probably going to be watching it on YouTube or take a look at the VOD, it'll be a good chance to like catch the read proper. I may do a few like cleanups here and there so it sounds a bit better. So once I do the premium version, it'll be much I wouldn't say professional, but to a very good standard. You know, fixing grammatical errors and so on. Because it's better to kind of read out the stuff, and if it's something that sounds awkward, then I could just do some corrections here and there too. Like I did come across yep, there's one grammatical error that is cleaned up. And yeah. But hey, if this kind of thing encourages other people to start doing their own stories based on their VTuber lore, like actual full-fledged stories, this is pretty much the objective I'm going for. If that's the impact I'm trying to go with, then yes. Because it's something that I have kind of expressed in a program that I was a bit more active on called In-Character Universe Fate Calculation, where in a few episodes, I've emphasized the potential for doing VTuber stories that are a bit more expanded on stuff like that. So, you're a fortune-telling fox, want to have some like 4 coma stories or something, short stories that emphasize on the kind of wishes that he had to grant or did not grant. If you are a sign of the deep and you're trying to like find your way into human civilization, you can turn it into a journey. If you're someone like me who is a bit too lost in the sauce of like so many different fandoms and just want to like roll into one, I pretty much developed my own kind of fan fiction within a fan fiction. But I'm planning on just making it work. I'm trying to make it work as much as I can. But all in all, it's still in your wheelhouse. Yes, yes. I need more. I need more lore. I need to see more lore. I hate that people just decide again and say, oh, okay, it's just a throwaway thing. It's just a throwaway thing. And you know, hold on. Let me see if I can actually find that particular video. That particular in-character universe video that I made just talking about this, because I do want to show exactly what I mean. It's one of the nugget videos, I think. And I do need to do more of those nugget videos too. Just to kind of emphasize exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let me put it up. I'm just gonna switch over to this one, and I do want to showcase what I mean. If you do make solid whatever counts, oh yeah, that's the growing pains of that's definitely the growing pains of writing lore. If there's something you want to like retcon or make it a bit more sense of, it's gonna hurt. it's gonna hurt a lot more the further you are into it. It's gonna hurt like hell. Hey, don't play the video. It's gonna be a pain in the behind. But yeah, my whole intention of in-character universe was to like emphasize on VTuber lore, because I felt like there was potential that cannot be wasted just for like debuts and stuff like that. There's so much more you can do than just resign yourself in that particular box. Also, just to kind of let everybody know that this is just more of with the just chatting portion of the stream. If you want to actually listen to the actual chapter read, you'll be starting around like the 10-minute mark of the video. So this is just me going back and just being the shill for writing VTuber lore and making him into actual stories. But this is what I'm talking about. You have probably seen a few of my videos where I interview VTubers with a bit of a twist. The VTubers themselves are mostly in character, as if I'm speaking to them rather than the person behind the avatar. In other instances, I'm helping them build up ways to explore their lore and flesh it out so it becomes full-fledged stories should they choose that route. This is what I call in-character universe, a program that does those things I mentioned. But what is it really? In actuality, In-Character Universe is a workshop series where I help other VTubers that may have a bit of trouble exploring their character flesh out aspects they could branch out with once it is out in the open. Be it in acting, writing, or just simply coming up with ideas to distribute lore into different mediums, the goal is to create a launchpad with said ideas to break the mold, as well as turn the public consensus that lore is a useless aspect to a VTuber. Because if anything, lore is woefully underutilized supplemental material that could greatly unlock some potential in the right instances. The goal was to create a launchpad with said ideas to break. Oh. Wait. Shit. I didn't notice that this is still the. Restream, you're failing me. Restream, you are failing me. Inconceivable. Unacceptable. I should really get around to actually typing your words, rules, and lore. Do it. Don't say it, do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams, just do it. Put it on the paper, put it on the typewriter, put on whatever you have, and just do it. If anything, just go with the Toriyama approach. Just go freaking ham. And just make corrections later. Because I personally do not take any notes. I personally do not take any notes whatsoever whenever I do my story. I just kind of read back and just see where I left off. And see exactly where I can kind of like expand upon. Because if you have an idea down in your head, give it maybe less than an hour, you are going to start reaching that point of forgetting. What is NaNoWriMo? What's NaNoWriMo? Or who is NaNoWriMo? You know, let me put some music in the background so we can actually enjoy a little chat. What do you mean no notes? I do not. I raw dogged. I raw dogged this shit. I just go right. Maybe somewhere down the line, I'm just gonna like do some outline so I can just pay attention. But what I do, I just write it down. Oh, National Writer Novel Month. Okay. Okay. Honestly, I'd never heard of that before, but yeah, I just write it down. Because I have like a mental image of stuff I want to like execute. I just go straight to the point. Serious question? All right, shoot. Me doing voiceover is a thing? Yeah, essentially part of my quote unquote mission is practically lore keeping and record keeping. Part of it is that. As in, like, if it's in character? Then yes. US Navy Winter Blues? Okay, I'll take a look at that. Okay. Winter Blues. All I see are like uniform collections. Oh wait. Okay, dress blue uniform again adopted for field use. See figures 4 and 6. Alright, winter uniform. So I came getting closer. Alright, winter dress blue. Okay. The same officer uniform shown in figure 12, but now worn with blue cap, and for cold weather, officers had two types of full-length blue overcoats that could be worn with this uniform. A trench-style coat with a removable wool liner and a wool double-breasted coat adorned with gilt buttons. Here, let me put this on stream so I guess I can have it easier to showcase. All right, let's see. And do a bit of window capture. Okay, so this is the outfit. So I guess there's a bit of a story behind the outfit, correct? Or there's like a purpose? Something more formal. That is true. And Delphinium does need like some sort of formal uniform anyway. That, and also I probably need to just figure out like some fan designs too, or regulars. I was mostly thinking of like having people in like some form of combat uniform, but also having like formal would also help too. And me having formal outfits would probably just spearhead that as well. Yeah. Something a bit formal. Because right now, as it stands, I'm just more of like a ragtag, yeah, just a ragtag group. But having like an idea for fan designs or fan mascots should be ideal. But believe me, I'm not going for like a cute animal kind of deal for a mascot. If anything, it's just gonna be actual soldiers in gear. It's just figuring out like the standard equipment for every single individual. That's all encompassing. And I figure that depending on how long someone has been around, that'll probably be just like a nice little measurement for experience to some degree. So usually those that are like starting out get given like moderate equipment, like medium armor, maybe plate carriers and so on. But the more experience are either in like light armor or heavier armor, because they have like the idea of how to like approach certain situations. So I had a feeling that's more or less for subs rather than regulars. Because Sentinels, which is like the membership, I feel as though gets to a bit of a different kind of territory. They should be built like brick shit houses. They're the bulwark of Delphinium, making sure that nothing passes through or nothing gets away. Nothing unsavory, nothing destructive, nothing dangerous. We are the shield. Sierra Hotel, India. Echo, Lima, Delta. I probably spelled that wrong, but you get the idea. I think it's only lore-wise VTubers tend to do this. Yeah, they only that's the thing I kind of highlighted in the video. They only just relegate that debuts for the new outfits, or debuts of debuts in general. Which is like, come on. You have such a badass story. You have so much going on. And you just you just spend it all. You just spend the meter. Super and ultra on just the debut alone. Like, it kills me. It legit kills me that they have a whole entire storyline or a potential storyline just right there. Right freaking there. And it's just vaporware at that point. Like, V-Shoujo is probably one thing on record that I do remember there was like some sort of active storyline between Zentreya and Melody. The whole Melware arc. They actually had comics and all that shit. They should not be the only ones doing that. They shouldn't. because it opens the door for like so many potential different stories to just come about. The whole thing with Iron Mouse and Booby, they recently released like a little animation done by Dylan Gu. They did that because they understand that, holy shit, this writing is fire. This lore has potential. It can go places. But most people just relegate that to, oh, it's just something that I can just showcase my new model for and all that jazz. And it's just one and done. It should not be like that. It should not. It should not, but it somehow is. And I think it's just because of like corpo standard. I think that's what it is. Idol culture, corpo standard, it just kneecaps everybody else in thinking that stories are pointless. Sure, you can have like real life lore of like stuff that happened to you during streaming, or stuff that happened to you, or stuff that you've said, or stuff that you've experienced that makes everybody else remember what you've done. Everybody remembers my little lawn dart stints. I cannot be trusted with flying high ordnance. I cannot. Everybody also remembers some that actually have tuned in for the Ace Combat 3 stream will probably remember Dr. Pepser, the fictional drink that is probably a bootleg of Dr. Pepper, allegedly. Everybody also remembers the corruption arc that happened in Divinity 2. Prim is still feeling it to this very day, and I'm sorry. But he's right when he says I'm a sicko. The duel. That also happened, where I got my shit pushed in and was forced to play Gundam Battle Operation 2, which I fell out of love for almost like months in later. Because freaking cheaters on PC. But to go back to the main point, I will be, and it's gonna be me just dragging this heavy ass coffin along like Mirror World Heathcliff to just get the whole point across that VTuber lore is very, very untapped potential that most people just disregard as fluff. Do you know how many VTuber designs tell a whole ass story? You know what? There is one VTuber in particular that I am actually in such appreciation for that actually has their own story. Rezochi. She actually has her own novel and manga called Shurunea. Or I probably mispronounced it, but Rezochi has her own story. Actually puts in the effort to just really flesh it out. Whole original story too, based on her VTuber. And you know what? It's good. It's good. I mean, she's I think she put things on hold. What's the program? I just use Google Docs to just write my stuff down. I used to write it on Wix page because I figured that it might be a much more expansive idea, but I just write it down on like a Google Docs. As far as like publishing it though, I might just like post the link and just run with it. But yeah, if there were more instances like Rezochi's story, Shirunea, you know, let me see if I could just find the. All right, yeah. Let me copy link address, turn off the music real quick, and we're gonna watch.
それに魔物も一緒に住んでいる混沌の世界。昔はあらゆる種族の中で戦争が起きていた。その結末はシャドウデーモンという種族の誕生。大自然と生きているものすべてのバラ
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We're already getting a good amount of world building.
ランスを守るため、この種族は他のものと混ぜることは決して許されなかった。シャドウデーモンの力は恐ろしいほど病みついて、他の種族は触れてはならない。デーモンたちは危険なので近寄ってはいけないと誰しもが教わっている。だがデーモンの一人がこう思った。大自然のバランスを守っているのなら、どうして悪人扱いされているのだろう。このシャドウデーモンは好奇心で故郷から離れて旅に出た。たくさんの光と命に出会って、たくさんの人々と魔物と触れ合った。何より一つの種族にとらわれた。それが聖なる狐だった。聖なる狐は王族で魔力の強い血を持っている。特別なイベントや祝日以外、外の世界とほぼ関わりを持たない。デーモンの子は一人の狐に目をつけた。
Okay, I'm not gonna play too much because I want everybody else to figure out for themselves and just look up. Shiruneya has the web novel going on too. But yes, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that there is so much potential for VTuber lore stories to go above and beyond. Excuse me. This is exactly why I'm such a proponent for this kind of thing. I'm just gonna switch to just chatting. I'll just do whatever I can to just be the champion of VTubers actually doing more actual expansive lore stories, because there's so much potential you could just go from. That should not go to waste. And I hate that it's just treated as useless. Do you know what you can do with a story that you can just expand on consistently? If you actually can make your own working novel based on your VTuber lore, you can probably go far. If you want to go for like a comic structure, you can do that. If you want to go for audio drama, you can do just that. I forgot who it was. I think it was Aki Rosenthal, if I remember correctly, from something from Holotog. She actually does audio dramas of her lore. You think that people are such big fans of Aki Rosenthal, but never really mentioned that particular bit of being able to just expand upon stuff like that. And I think that just kind of opens up a very glaring hole in the wall. It opens up a very glaring hole in the wall that I think most people don't exactly understand. There is potential to just do stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a huge production. If you know like simple audio engineering or simple audio editing, you could do audio dramas. You could do raw reads like me. You could do so much more. You don't have to have a big ass ball and budget in order to do stories on your own. You just gotta make your story compelling enough for everybody to kind of pay attention, read, and listen, and just do so much more. Because it just kills me. It just absolutely wounds me with so many different kinds of approaches of how someone does their lore. Because I think no one asks the question to themselves. If my VTuber becomes a streamer, what is their life outside of that? What do they enjoy? What do they eat? What do they have? And what do they have? What don't they have? How can I humanize my character in a way where, in the world that they live in, can be interacting with the stuff around them? Because let's be honest, if your VTuber is just a streamer and stream alone, that's just putting him in a box. That's just simply just putting them in a box and just shipping them away so they cannot be treated anything other than just that, an asset. Put them in a bag. Put them in a box. If it fits, it ships. But I feel like that's the biggest waste. If you just ended up as, oh, this and this happened, I escaped from this hellish situation from my original world, now I found a way in order to reach out to other people through the power of streaming, and I'm happy. Realistically, something's gonna follow you through that escaped world. And just streaming alone is not gonna really help assuage your situation. You're gonna have to deal with that glaring hole in the wall, otherwise it's gonna make more problems. So streaming, yeah, it does help you reach out to like other people, but are you gonna be recruiting people to help you fix that situation that you escaped from? Are you gonna be ready to just go to war? Are you ready to just make peace with the kind of society that you're in? There's so many different questions that you can just open the box. Like in my case, Otsdarva is mostly just investigating VTubers because it's a particular mission to understand the prevalence of different worlds. What kind of different life forms exist in different possibilities and dimensions. How it interacts in anomalies is another factor. So in situations where I'm meeting a VTuber in a very unusual place or unusual position or a distortion, I'm putting that out there. If a distortion is possible or an anomaly is visible or present, I'm gonna have to investigate it. My life is in complete and utter danger because I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen in the process of investigating. I'm not invincible, I'm human. There's a reason why I am the way I am, how I approach things the way I do. Because one wrong mistake is death. So the stakes are there. The stakes are absolutely there. Plus, I have to deal with other shit that's going on in my story that pretty much puts me in the crosshairs, even though I'm much more of like a defensive contractor. That's what Delphinium is. It's a defense contract. No sword nor shield, no sword nor spear shall break this shield. We are here to protect, but also intercept those that aim to do harm. But I at least have an idea of how Otsdarva lives his life. Because currently, at the beginning of the story, he's broke as a joke. He's just been thrusted into a world that he has no idea and is trying to get used to. So he does whatever he can in order to try and make ends meet, doing some bounty hunting shit to just put some food on our table and also keep the lights on inside the base, even though the energy seems practically limitless. Because you may never know who's going to come around and just start taxing things. And above all else, the allies that he meets along the way are going to help him achieve the missions that he can't do exactly alone. So before anything ever even sets off, he's just living the life as like the crew from Cowboy Bebop. Beef and bell peppers, sea salt ramen, and all that cheap stuff. He's broke. He's broke. I'm broke, man. I live like this. I don't even have like my own overlay. It's just a free to use. Everything's just cheap. Everything's free. I'm surviving as much as I can, damn it. But I'm still alive. But yeah, I'm kind of passionate, if you can tell from the sound of my voice, the inflections and all that. I'm very passionate about lore stories, and I just want to see people more. Well, now I begin as a rundown on my world score and how there's always a chance of death. Good, because Invincible does that. There's always a chance that someone's gonna die. You can prolong it as much as you can, but it's inevitable. How they die is up to you. How painful it is up to you. How sad it is up to you. You must not be afraid to kill your darlings, essentially. Or at least make them suffer. Majors of BS, by the way, they're the haha rewrite laws of reality kind. Yeah, and those are ones that are probably gonna get put in a DDT when someone actually gets their hands on them. Aha, I can cast a magic ball. Shut up, bitch. DDT! Or just give him a suplex. Or just put him in the walls of Jericho. A sharpshooter or something. Just imagine the mages are like in the back line of like a battle, and just out of nowhere, a berserker just comes in and just power bombs the shit out of them. Or just give him the meanest RKO. Just blast them against the ground and just turn them into paste in the process. Like that shit. They could be like the most celebrated archmage in existence, and they just get blindsided by some random berserk knight or orc or anything that just makes it very apparent that they are not prepared. No matter how much clairvoyance they have, it's just the moment that they just get caught off guard, that's it. They just get ethered. And what mages are walking death, melee of any kind is it's a death sentence. Only absolute surprise attacks can kill them of dragons and other mages. Or dragons and Okay, so you have like some sort of idea of a balance system. That's good. Some people just go a little bit too ham with all of a sudden my character can do this and that. It's like the isekai route, where it turns into a game of Risk of Rain, they get this MacGuffin, they get this particular item, and then all of a sudden they can start break the game immediately. All that matters is like the kind of build that they're spec'd with. That's essentially what isekai animes are. It's a roguelike, but most specifically Risk of Rain. Because all it takes is just one particular item, one particular ability, one particular anything to say, fuck it, I can break the game now. Even if it's against like the most powerful being in that particular realm, if that isekai individual ever gets their hands on that MacGuffin, or that item, or that ability, or any kind of individual that is capable of just warping shit into their favorable conditions, that's it. The win condition has already been achieved. And that's it. And that's why everybody kind of treats like isekais as a power fantasy. Because it's essentially introducing the variable of, if I have this key item or anything that allows me to just turn things on its head, I can not be stopped. I cannot be stopped. Granted, there are some things like ReZero that kind of blurs the lines a little bit, where if you have abilities to, like, if it comes with a drawback, like being able to respawn, having memories of stuff that happened, but you still feel the sheer amount of pain, mental trauma, and all that just stacking up almost to the point you're just breaking. It balances out if you have someone else that is by your side that's capable of just negating those situations. But the usual other isekais is just, I have this really broken ability, I have this really powerful weapon, I have this very interesting quirk that allows me to do things that no others cannot. I can break the game as much as I want, but if there is something that draws me back from doing just that, then I cannot do much of anything without having to adhere to that condition. But I can still just trivialize everything else just for comedic effect. Majority of the mages are in constant state of depression too, since they flood their brains with the mana that made them see all their possible deaths in 5 seconds. Oh, that's painful. That's actually pretty painful. Like, imagine, what is worse? Knowing when you die, or knowing how you die? What's the worst? I remember that question that was asked to me when I was like in high school. Would you ever want to know how you die or when you die? Because both invoke states of paranoia too. But one has you much more paranoid of getting onto anything else in the process. The other has you kind of worried about how that death is going to happen. Because quite frankly, I would probably go with when I die. All right, let me also modify the chat box. There's a thing all aspiring mages must do called 5 seconds of null, in which the person must flood their brains with the mana and causes them to see all possible deaths for 5 seconds. The upside, it prevents all mental ailments. The drawback is that it makes every mage's magic unstable, so a guy can try to teleport and he slipped about and is in a wall. Oh, oh, that's painful. The reason why they do this is to prevent mages from mind controlling another. Interesting. Now it also begs the question, is like, is there like some sort of rock, paper, scissors element to it? Didn't expect the stream? Yeah. This is just kind of like a spur of the moment, but I've contemplated on making this more of like a simulcast. since I'm just reading from my lore story, but right now I'm just kind of like I'm just kind of chatting it up. I also noticed that YouTube probably hasn't properly updated the title, so it's probably still saying Limbus Company. So apologies on that, but I'll modify the title once the stream is over. But if you are interested in listening into the chapter read, you can just kind of start from the 10-minute mark from there. I could probably post the Google Doc of my story at the moment so everybody else can kind of follow along and see what other chapters going to be on the pipeline too. But what's good, Pumpkin? Hope you're doing well on this Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Friday wherever you are. Yes, dragons, Jedi, and mages, they resist all magic, and some can still use it too. It still is. God damn it, restream. You had one job, but I think it's starting to like crap itself out because it's that. Oh, I forgot that I have both. Wait, what are the dimensions I have for? In the middle of a Mirror Dungeon run. Ah, nice. So, what are your thoughts on the new IDs? The new ID in the Eagle that came around. Because that Dulcinea Roja is Let me see if I can also modify. Also, the felt bullet Yisang looks pretty cool too. It's kind of a bit of a tease that they cut off the the corrosion animation, so it didn't show too much. But I see what they're cooking up. I see. Also, what's good, Vento? It's stuck in the wall like a back source engine, right? Yeah. But yeah, majority of the time I was talking was mostly about just VTuber war stories and how much of an importance it is. Seeing that Dulcinea would be a good idea. Already expected for Main to go unhinged, but felt by you saying suspected an arrival magnified that effect. Boy, oh boy. she can take all my lunacy, man. And if not, I'm just gonna shard up. Just shards. Just grab as many shards as I can for Dulcinea. Because I need her expeditiously. I need her. I have a mighty need. Like if I showed you. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. I already did like a react video, but I'm gonna be editing it relatively soon. But let me. Let me just put it on stream. Wonder if the new idea will have less than gluttony like Aldous and Gregor's. I think it might be more in line with what Dulcinea actually had too. So envy, envy, gluttony, and wrath. But I could be wrong. I could actually be wrong. So let's all react to this together, shall we? Hey, Seiji! Hey, no worries. I'm having fun too. Hope everybody else is having fun with this as well. We just finished our reading of the chapter, so we're just kind of chatting together and having a good time. And happy Friday to you too as well. We're now just going to be reacting on stream. But this is just a bit more of a raw reaction rather than what I have planned for like later.
림버스 컴퍼니.
위장에 묵직히 얹히는 총신을 느끼리라.
But I still like the fact that just Heathcliff is just the one being targeted behind. He is like the front target, but the bullet always hits its mark. But I think the reason why Fell Bullet exists is because it always kills another's beloved, or kills someone that has someone that they have beloved. But that's cool. Now I'm kind of curious as to how the targeting is going to work. He's one of the first to get the Fell Bullet ego. That and also Kathy. I think the main crux of it was just because of Kathy. Now this looks cool. This looks absolutely cool. The mirror panels from Yisang's wings and so on. That is such a cool. They're cooking with these egos.
라마 챌린지에 카니발에 오신 걸 환영합니다.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna indulge here. I'm gonna indulge. The original Dulcinea was hot. Roja just Take my lunacy, my shards, and all my sorrows. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to redeem. I'm gonna have to redeem. I'm gonna have to redeem it. My apologies for anybody else. I'm gonna have to redeem it. I apologize. Oh, wait. The notifications are off. No, notifications are on. Oh, there we go. that type of time. Just look. I'm Rodia's strongest soldier. I'm probably weaker than anybody else. But yes. This Russian muscle bombshell is buffed up to such extreme degree. All it took was just seeing Dulcinea, and that was all it was. Once we encountered Dulcinea, the kind of tone of voice, the kind of way that she speaks, very somber, almost kind of tinged with tedium, if it's anything to kind of dip back into from Time Killing Time. Do not distort. I'm sorry, but I am distorting. I deserve this. Millie from Trigun? Yes. Very tall, very beautiful. Has like the same kind of vent hair. Yes. Roy, this is a more mature Millie? Yeah. Essentially. Oh. She could bench press me. She could bench press me. She weighs like 160. She's like 64 kilos. But the way that she... Look, using an axe as a weapon is not an easy thing to do. But she hits like a truck. She hits like a truck. Heathcliff got knocked out twice during that one intermission part. But her having this ID... Well, I'm saying, yeah, it's a pull. Well, what she uses is actually an axe. I wouldn't say like a halberd like Sinclair, but it's still there. But look at her. She is beauty. She is grace. She is beauty. She is grace.
남는 퍼레이드를 함께 해주시겠나요? 이 피보라를 봐. 아름답지 않니? 흩날리는 꽃종이도 밤하늘을 수놓는 폭죽도 이보다 황홀하지 못할 거야. 피날레를 시작. 이 밤의 열기 속에서
Grind it down.
위치에 있는다는 것. 당연하면서도 공허한 일이야.
And that's probably a counter, just like how Wild Hunt Heathcliff has his own kind of special counter too.
실상은 나도 대열에 갇혀 있을 뿐이니까.
Which I'm also sure is like the beautiful thorns or bountiful thorns, which it just adds bleed on top of anybody else that attacks her.
하지만 그 커다란 죄를 짓고 나면 이 끝없는 순환도.
Look at her! Look at her! You know what has me worried? The fact that District P borders not only District Y, where Richard grew up in its back streets, but also District G, even with a new G Corp that memories. I guess that's why both her and Gregor kind of get along pretty well. So we may actually see a bit of expansion on the stories between both Gregor and Roger at the same time too. Maybe in like a new interval after the events of Kanto 7. And I'm pretty sure by now, once we go back to District Y, Eurodivia already has like a huge foothold. But gee, that's going to be an interesting story to see. Who's going to be there? What's going to be causing a whole lot of trouble? Who's next on the chopping block for the next Kanto?
끝이 나겠지.
All right, let me also just modify. The Twitch one. But man, oh man. This was actually pretty fun. But I'll also just modify the title after the stream is over so no confusion's made. Because restream, you failed me. But I'm probably going to wrap it up here. It's fun talking with y'all and just shooting the breeze after doing the chapter read. I'll probably try to do the next chapter sometime either later on in the month or probably next month. So things could be paced a little bit better. Well, we already have a combination of ideas. Unless we go out into a district in the span of an interval or two, we can think of a few paths to go on. I mean, anything goes at this point. Anything goes. But just gonna end it here. Thanks everybody for sticking on by. Hope you had a wonderful time watching, lurking, and all that good stuff. And happy Friday. I'm gonna send y'all to Nariko. And yeah. Merciless Kanto will likely take place in District N, given he did work for it. Yeah, he did. And that's gonna be very interesting to come across too. And one more thing too, if you're tuning in a bit later and you want to kind of take a look at the lore story or just listen to the raw read, the story reading starts at around the 10-minute mark. So if you want to skip ahead, or I'll probably put in the channel description or the video description, I'll just put a nice little mark there. So happy times. And I need to put the Roger video